Any fine blade or any fine edge that you have, regardless of its quality, okay, if it's going to perform at its maximum potential all the time, then it needs to be maintained regularly. Okay. What you're looking to do is to make sure that the angles on the blade remain very even and very consistent all the time that you have the knife. And you know, when you first get it, you cut with it, it feels like it's melting the food, not just slicing it, and you want to maintain that feeling. In order to do that, you really do need to look after the blade regularly. Now, the first and foremost thing that you do with any good knife is what the barbers would call stropping. You strop the blade. What's happening to your knife is that as the blade hits the edge, or the edge hits the surface that you're cutting on, okay, the blade is banging down. As it hits the finest part of the blade, the edge hits the hard surface, it's doing this. Now, if you hold the blade and cut in a very, very sort of traditional way, you know, like where you roll the blade like that, what's happening there is because you can't hold the blade 100% vertical down, it's either one way or the other. As the pressure goes on, the blade flexes either side. So if something flexes and comes back, not all of it can come back. It's like taking a wire coat hanger and bending it. If you're trying to straighten it, you can't straighten it all the way because there's a little kink there. So that's what's happening to your edge. It's folded over, it's come back, it's flexed, it's come back, it's flexed, it's come back, but a molecular amount of material has got left over. Now this method of stropping literally just straightens that up. So what you do is the very first time that you make a cut with your knife and it doesn't feel as smooth and as sharp as it did when you first got it, and that could be anything from a week in between, or it could be 2 days if you use the knife a lot, or it could be a month. It depends. It's up to you to decide when that feeling comes, when it's not cutting as well as it could do. So when that happens, all you're going to do is you're going to take the knife on a very flat surface, place some newspaper. Okay, so you can use a table, preferably with glass or marble or your work surface. Put some, quite a thick amount of newspaper onto there, right? Working at the end of the table, because if you work in the middle of the table, obviously the knife isn't going to touch all the way. Working at the end of your table, so that the whole blade touches, you lift the blade up onto its edge by about, say, a couple of pound coins on that side. It's not very critical at this stage because you're not actually grinding anything. All you're doing is just literally just realigning the edge. So having done that, you just literally stroke the paper with the knife like so. Now, because the blade doesn't touch with the curve going upwards there, so when I lie down, that part isn't touching, what you're going to do is literally just work upwards there. So once again, starting from the back of the blade, which is flat, going across like that, and then slowly working your way across to the tip of the blade like so. Until, and this is a very, very difficult thing for a lot of people to grasp unless they practice this regularly. At first you'll do this and you won't know the difference, but at one point suddenly a realization will come that, you know what, oh, there's a different sound, there's a different feeling, and the blade's done. Now, some people get there very quickly, some people take a little time, but it comes to everybody. Just keep practicing and it will come to you. And once you've done one side, maybe you say 30, 40 fast strokes like so, you turn the blade over inside and you do it the other way, going there, and then going downwards towards the tip. Now, I'm doing it like this with my left hand holding the paper and my right hand working. It's a bad habit, okay? If you really want to be safe, hold the blade in your left hand when you're doing the left side of the blade and hold the right hand when you're doing the right side of the blade. What that does is where the blade had kinked over, I've simply put it onto a flat surface and I've straightened it out. Exactly what your barber would have done to his cutthroat razor on a leather strop. If you do that regularly, I promise you the knife would require a third, maybe even less of the sharpening that you normally have to do if you'd allowed that rollover to carry on until the knife actually didn't cut and you were sawing food. So, do that regularly, and I promise you, okay, your knife will be sharper for longer, and it'll be less work for you when you actually come to resharpening it, and the resharpening will always be easier.